Good morning, beloveds. I'm yeah, I'm having a morning. We've had 3 days in a row where Hayes has slept through the night. Meaning he may not be sleeping through the night, but he's not howling and yanking us out of a dead sleep. So it appears that the gabapentin is helping. This is what happens when you have an elder statesman for a cat. So, but hey, it's better for all of us. So he's now standing in the hallway looking at me going, why are you in my room? And yeah, I'm experiencing the spoofing. So if you are on social media and have me as a friend, I don't use Messenger. I very rarely even use the Facebook Messenger on the computer. So if you get a message from me, it's not from me. Somebody created a Facebook, or not a Facebook, created a new Instagram using my Facebook profile picture. So it is not me. I've changed my profile pictures now on both of the medias, and it's now a cat. It's one of my cats. It's temporary. It'll go back, and then I'll probably change it to something else. So please, if you have the ability to report the account, if you're on Instagram, please do. And if you get a Facebook message from me, just delete it. So it's not me. And it's interesting who they're who I've heard from that they're contacting. So, yeah, spoofing. It's like, dude, make your own account. You don't need my face. I'm not that famous. Oh, it could be a lady. I don't know. All right. The problem is there's not a whole lot I can do about it unless my account, the spoof account contacts me. So, all right. It is February 19th. Our title is Every Negative is Destroyed by My Knowledge of Truth. We are still doing Psalms. This is Psalm 31. I extol thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up and hast not made my foes to rejoice over me. Every negative condition that stands on our pathway is a test of how much we know about God and God's mind. If we agree with evil, we are the victims of evil. If we agree with good, we are demonstrating the power of God. This day, like all others, will offer us many opportunities to give evidence of our ability to overcome evil with good. To the extent that we accomplish this, we are worthy of the name the children of God. Like David, we must affirm that the Lord is our shepherd. I shall not want. The hidden enemies of our own consciousness need to be revealed and destroyed by such affirmations of what God really is. They wither under prayer and flourish under worry. Consistent right thinking of ourselves as creative outlets for the infinite mind and its infinite love guarantees their demise. God is truth, and I am the expression of truth. Only the truth functions in my thought today. To every negative person I say, begone. I am willing that every destructive idea in my unconscious mind now be revealed to me, and I now dismiss it. God fills my whole area of consciousness with Spirit's unlimited power of good. I am cleansed of all error and filled with all truth. My mind and God's mind are one, and no evil can exist in me, happen to me, nor proceed forth from me. I am a child of God, releasing good into my world and offering good to everyone with whom I live, work, and have fellowship. God speaks through me God's truth, and I live in a perfect world right now. All right. So first off, let's tackle the thought of evil, because what Science of Mind says evil is a misuse of the law. All right, because the law doesn't judge. The law doesn't say this is good, so I'm going to do this, and it doesn't say this is not good, I'm not going to do this. The law simply goes where the energy is, where our focus is, where our attention is, the power is. That is what evil is. It is a misuse. And I would say that a misuse of the power can just be a mistake. Evil is when we knowingly misuse the law. It's like, okay, we know how this works. How do we judge what is good versus what is not? Has to do with who benefits and who suffers. And definitely the more people who suffer from that use of the law, that would be, I would call that more evil. We all make mistakes. We are all going to misuse the law, especially we misuse the law in ignorance when we are unaware of how much power we actually have. So it's super important to understand who we are, what we can do, and how we can use this. And then to look at the benefits. It's like, all right, when I'm going to take this action, who does it benefit? And who might it hurt? And if it will hurt anybody at all, maybe I need to think of another way to do it. It doesn't mean that I can't do what I want. It just means that maybe I need to find another way to go about it. All right? And sometimes it's just straight up wrong. So that's what we're talking about. Every negative is destroyed by my knowledge of truth. When I know who I am, when I know the power I have, when I look at that, then it's a whole lot harder for me to do evil. It's a whole lot harder for me to make a mistake because I know the power that I have. Now, the other one, that line where he says they wither under prayer and flourish under worry. I like to go back to an Albert Einstein quote, and the Albert Einstein quote is, "Worry is a misuse of imagination." Why not imagine things going right? Why worry about things? Is worry going to change it? No. But prayer might. Because if we have a situation that we have concerns about, worrying isn't going to do anything other than steal the joy of the present moment. Which is a quote from somebody else, but I don't remember who. So, but if we take a concern into prayer, then solutions or opportunities can appear. So that's why they wither under prayer and flourish under worry. Misuse of imagination. All right. So that's my 2 cents. Let's work our way back through this. Every negative is destroyed by my knowledge of truth. I'm going to let you take the psalm. I extol thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up and hast not made my foes rejoice over me. And I like that and that's Psalm 31. Down in here, Ernest and Raymond explain what they mean by enemies in our consciousness. We're not talking necessarily about people outside of us, although we could. We're talking about the negative thoughts within our own minds and our own consciousness. Okay, so every negative condition which stands on our pathway is a test of how much we know about God and God's mind. If we agree with evil, we are the victims of evil. If we believe that evil is a power in and of itself, if we believe that evil has agency in and of itself, then we are going to be victims of it. If we recognize that it is a misuse of the power that we all have, then we can make different choices. It doesn't mean that evil won't occasionally cross our paths. It doesn't mean that evil won't occasionally impact us. But what it means is that when we see it coming, we can make a different choice. If we agree with good, we are demonstrating the power of God. This day, like all others, will offer us many opportunities to give evidence of our ability to overcome evil with good. He's talking about choices. We make choices all day long. How often do we consider the ramifications of our choices? How often do we stop and think, well, this one little mistake won't hurt? Not that again, I'm going to go back to, when we talk about, I want to talk about the trend. I want to talk about the trend of our thoughts. So we're going to make mistakes. There's no point in beating ourselves up about the mistakes. But when we make a mistake, we don't want to gloss over it. We want to make amends. We want to do better. All right? And that's what we mean about overcoming evil with good. When we make mistakes, it happens. We are spiritual beings having a messy human experience. So when we make mistakes, it is up to us to say, nope, I see that. I won't do that again. All right. To the extent that we accomplish this, we are worthy of the name the children of God. Like David, we must affirm that the Lord is our shepherd. We will not want. The hidden enemies of our own consciousness need to be revealed and destroyed by such affirmations of what God really is. Okay, the hidden enemies of our own consciousness. I will tell you, the suggestion I would give you about the hidden enemies of our consciousness are the things that we have been told that we have not checked out. What do I mean by that? Okay, so we grew up with this idea of God. Mostly, a lot of us, especially in the Western, grew up with this idea of this old white guy with a long white beard sitting in a chair with a gavel, judging, and a book. Okay? That's a hidden enemy in our consciousness because that's not what God is. And if that is so deep in our subconscious and we actually do believe that, how does that impact the way we move through this world? So when that belief comes up, then we can work on it. We can go, no. This is not what I believe God is. I am changing this. How do I change it? By constantly doing this kind of work and going and getting to know the real the real idea of God. I don't even know how to say that. Understanding that God's not an old white guy sitting in a chair. That God is mind. That God is idea. That God is love. That God is a patterning intelligence. And that God doesn't judge. Really, honestly, that's probably the biggest thing in that, for me, in that hidden enemy, is to remember that God doesn't judge. God loves, but God doesn't judge. That's what's super helpful for me in dealing with those hidden enemies in my consciousness. Now there's way more. We can go into the things that we've been told about ourselves, and because I just watched a video that I shared about I want my body back. And she's a comedian, she's funny, and what she was responding to was being bombarded with the idea with weight loss. It's like, we're not allowed to live in the bodies that we have. They should always be, and her words were less. They should be less. And so she wants her body back. She wants her body back from the body shamers. Well, that's another hidden enemy in our consciousness. So, trust me, we have more than we think we do. And so when they come up, then we get to look at them and go, do I really believe this? And if I don't, what am I going to do about it? All right. So the hidden enemies of our own consciousness need to be revealed and destroyed by such affirmations of what God really is. What God really is. And I will always go back to the assertion that God is love, because that negates a whole lot of the hidden enemies in my consciousness. They wither under prayer and flourish under worry. Consistent right thinking of ourselves as creative outlets for the infinite mind and its infinite love guarantee their demise. When we remember who we are and what we can do, the hidden enemies have no chance. All right, so now we're going to move into the part where take these words into your spiritual your spiritual work, into your treatments. And if the words resonate with you, great. And if they don't, feel free to change them as they make sense to you. God is truth, and I am an expression of that truth. Only the truth functions in my thought today. To every negative I say, begone. I am willing that every destructive idea in my unconscious mind now be revealed to me, and I now dismiss it. Okay, depending on how many you have, maybe you want to roll them out a little more slowly where you don't necessarily want them all coming at you at once. So, work on it at your own pace, all right? If you want them all at once, great. Play hardball metaphysics with Emma Curtis Hopkins. But it's okay to take your time and work your way through them. And it's also okay to ask for support in working your way through them. All right. God fills my whole area of consciousness with God's unlimited power of good. And that's a statement. I am cleansed of all error and filled with all truth. And that line right there would be a good one, especially when we make a mistake. It's like, okay, you know what? I've screwed up and I need to fix this. And so this is what I'm going to say to myself. I'm not necessarily going to say it out loud. I'm going to say, I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm cleansed of all error and filled with all truth. And then I'm going to make the amends that I need to. Does that mean that I need to make an apology? Does that mean I need to redo something? Whatever it is. But that's a heck of a powerful phrase to start an amend with. My mind and God's mind are one, and no evil can exist in me, happen to me, or proceed forth from me. All right? Why? Because I know who I am, and who we are children of God, which is what he says in the next line. I am a child of God, releasing good into my world. That is what we are. We are children of God, releasing good into our world. And offering good to everyone with whom I live, work, and have fellowship. You want a mission for today? There you go. God speaks through me God's truth, and I live in a perfect world right now. All right? God speaks spirit truth through me, and that's trust. That is trust. That is trust that when I open my mouth, the words that come out are helpful, are loving, are beneficial, are kind, are compassionate. You want to know why I recommend that spiritual practice that I do every day? That's why. Because if I practice that loving, kind compassion on myself, then I'm going to speak God's word, because that is who I am. All right? So, the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to recognize that we are children of God, releasing good into our world, offering good to everyone with whom we live, with whom we work, with whom we have fellowship, to our friends, and honestly, to the strangers that we meet. Because sometimes good is doing something, and sometimes good is not doing something. It's choices that we make. All right, beloveds. I am going to move into the process of my day. You got the mission. It's a heck of a mission. But it always is. It is. The mission of the day is about knowing who we are. It always is. So the other mission that I briefly referenced is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. If it is a big thing, if it is a small thing, it does not matter. One of the things that I advocate for is taking 3 deep breaths in a moment of strong emotion. Especially if you're about to say something to someone and it may not come out the way you want it to. The most loving, kind, and compassionate thing you can do for yourself and that other person is to take those 3 deep breaths, and in that moment, ground, center yourself in that love. And trust that the words that come out of your mouth are God's truth. So, and not ego. Because sometimes Eagle will get up in there and say, I know what to say. And you're like, nope, nope, I love you, but this is not your job. So, all right. Yes, Rita. So, take care of yourself today. Engage your mind and your body some way. Please go get some bright morning light. The sun was up, the clouds were blue. It was gorgeous out there. It was cold, but it was gorgeous. We had a great day in the park today. And we got there early enough to get a good walk in and still engage with plenty of squirrels. Drink plenty of water, even if right now it's cold enough that you want it warm. That includes coffee and tea and stuff like that. I'm hydrate. That's what me saying drink plenty of water is one way of me saying I love you. Honestly, it is. So, and then open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you all the time. It's up to us to find it, and Emma suggests a good way to do that. Look for the good and praise it. Look for the good and praise it. Because the more you look, the more you see, the more you see, the more there is. That's the way it works. So, it's Saturday, which means it's Catter Day with me. Catter Day for me. It means I get to snuggle with the cats all day. I'm very happy about that. That's my loving, kind, compassionate thing. Saturday. I've also heard it called Sacred Saturday. A lot of ministers will take a Sacred Saturday to prepare for Sunday. So yeah. Do what you need to do. Honestly, you got to have that day of rest. So have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a sunny day, a catter day, or, well, I would say dog, but I don't know how to do that. I'll figure it out. But a taking care of yourself day. All right? Have a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased always and forever. Please remember, it is a state of grace. It doesn't have to be earned, and it can't be taken away. All right? So, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. We will have an amazing service for you at 11 here on Facebook Live. And if you're interested in what's going on, because we do have like 3 book studies running right now, please check out info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. Then you'll know what's going on when I don't. And you can always catch us on all the social medias. I'm still super excited about our soul session on Wednesday, which is still on Facebook. We won't take that down. Or if you want it, after David and I get a few videos up, you can find it on the YouTube channel. Creative Life Spiritual Center is our YouTube and Facebook. Creative Life Spark is our Instagram and TikTok. And I am the running Rev Ryan on 3 of those. I'm not on TikTok. I'm terrified of TikTok. Not really. It's just videos. Yay. As I make a 20-minute video every morning. Okay. That's fair. So, know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.